Okay, well, Stella wanted the chair, I guess, so um, I'll just move over here on the couch. It's just more awkward, like, to try and sit on and stuff, because it's like sunk way back, further back than that chair, so you sink way back in there. But anyways, yeah, you have to see that there's a hole to start, looking into something. And then once you look into anything, it all unravels. You start seeing such a different picture. You go in thinking the puzzle is one thing, and you come out of it with a completely different picture. So that's the thing is, I just feel like as a Democrat for all that time, I was, I know what the narrative was. I know what they were telling us. I saw what, the agenda or whatever you want to call it. I could see it clearly after I started going and listening to the other people talk, the other side. It's like once you start listening to the other side, it completes your side. It gives you a much bigger picture. And then, that's when it all starts. So that's like when somebody's just not seeing it, when they just keep arguing and blaming, because that's not what it's about. It's all these triggering events to wake people up. And they're going to have to experience a lot of pain and suffering that they've created themselves. They're going to have to face their dark side. Like, some people don't even know. They justify their bullying and stuff. They think it's okay. They feel justified. They've dehumanized Trump supporters and called them racist and all these names, and it's dehumanized them so that people don't care what happens to them. And when people start seeing about the manipulation that created that, they're going to be ashamed of themselves for playing along, because no matter what, they are playing a part. And you keep trying to explain to people, yeah, but you're not looking at this information because you have biases. You think that this information is, racist or fake or whatever. Then you're not looking at it. Well, so if somebody doesn't want you to see something, what's the easiest thing to do? Label it, tell you, don't look at that. But once you start looking at it, then you start seeing like, well, no wonder they didn't want me to look at this. What else do they not want me to see? So that's that's kind of like the start of the thing. And I mean, so many people did it and looked into things, and we all saw the same thing. And I just don't get what the deal is with all these people who just are so locked in that they can't. I mean, it's kind of spooky when you talk to them, because they're so locked into this fake, false narrative, and any trigger word at any moment could be the one that to them is, go murder your neighbors. So I don't know. I'm say it about a zillion times. I just look forward to the truth coming out, to stop all this nonsense. And people are going to have to face their own dark sides, and that's all part of the ascension and evolving as conscious beings. And so that's all a process, and it's coming. I was thinking, when whatever is going to happen, this aha moment that is going to be universal, you're not going to be able to not see it. It's going to come, and everyone's going to see it. Like, when that light bulb comes on, I think we are going to feel the energy. Like, is that part of this, this wave of energy that is the ascension or something? I mean, it's going to be powerful for all these people to suddenly realize something at the same time. because, being in the group that was looking to wake up, looking for information, trying to figure out what was going on, recognizing somebody's lying here, like knowing, like you get it in your gut, like gaslighting and lies on the hugest scale. And so when you get it and you start looking for it and you're finding that you're right, is that all these people that know that there's lies happening, but they keep thinking it's their neighbors that are lying. It's, in my case, I'm the family member who's lying. I'm the one who's got the problem and stuff. But none of them will go and look into the actual thing and then come and try and, have a real conversation about perspective of what the real thing is. They just go and look for information to discount or basically just discount it, to just say, it's not valid. Like there was these, they were just constantly call me, instead of my name, they put a letter, Q, and then spell my name, and all these things, however they can get this Q into their ridicule of me. And so last night I said, I think you talk about it so much, it's time you meet them. And then I just posted the whole the Q pub or whatever it is. It's a link that is all of the posts. And so of course they didn't say anything because they wouldn't know what to say. They wouldn't even know what they're looking at. They would be so confused because they believe it's a cult. They believe it's some sort of a group, an organization, like the Proud Boys and this group that, everybody's getting together and they're trying to overthrow the government. And it's like, no, that's not what's going on. That's what they're telling you what's going on. What's actually it is very complex drops. And that not only did they urge people to look into things, that things were being hidden from them, but then there's certain people that communicate, and you have to be able to read the codes and the comms and stuff like that, which there's a lot of people who are super, super good at it. The rest of us are all just like witnesses to them. But when you can figure out the comms and the drops and stuff, and you go in and you read it, then it explains further what is going on. So you can see it's very sophisticated and complex, and it talks about, it's got dates that it'll tell you something that's going to happen. They'll do the drop 3 years ago, say, and it will tell you what's going to happen. So then you go in, somebody's speaking, it could be Trump, could be Flynn, it could be anybody, and then you pick up on the comms, and then you go in and you line up the number of the drop with whatever the comm is, and you go in and you see they're talking about how did they know 3 years ago what was going to happen today. Like it's fascinating. Anyway, it was really a lot of fun to go in and watch these people talk about these things and see them break down the stuff. And then it was like, oh, success when there's never a mistaking it. The only thing that people have gotten caught up on is thinking that some of the numbers meant dates, and that certain dates meant something was going to happen, and they get super disappointed when it didn't go that way. But this battle is huge. This is for centuries we've been under the enslavement of these people, and we're just now seeing how it works. And so this is a huge thing that is happening, and it's not going to happen overnight, and it's going to have to be painful, so it doesn't happen again. And You know, there was another thing. I was thinking about this last night when I was going to bed. There was somebody, I think it was Dolores Cannon. I've told you before about reading some of her books. She's got really good books. But she would hypnotize people, and then they would, and it all happened by accident when she very first started. But then she would hypnotize them, and then they would go into this other state. She would suddenly find herself talking to their higher self. And they could start talking about past lives and telling information. Then she started seeing that there was a time-space continuum, and she could be talking to someone who lived 200 years ago, but they were alive right then. They could be in the room. It's really interesting. Like, but she was talking. I think it was her that I saw talking about this, and it was somebody. They were asking questions about Hitler and his karmic debt. And the higher self said that it is not finished being, rung up, accounted. It's still going. It's still tallying, because what he did affected generations of people. So how it's affected the generations and beyond, that's still tallying that karmic debt. And then they said, and who even has a bigger one than him is his dad. And that is, like, people just don't realize when they take an action how it affects people far beyond just the person you're doing it to. And it all depends on how deep, your wound or whatever it is you do to this person. Like, you murder someone's mom, say, your karmic debt will be everyone who's affected by that for however long until they aren't affected anymore. So generations of being affected by this murder in their family. So, it's not just like tit for tat. It's an energy. It's when you are affecting it and you try and make a change in something, then you have to be responsible for everything that happens after that. If that makes any sense. It makes total sense to me. Like, I get it, but I understand things on a level that there's not a lot of people who understand things the way I do. So I find myself always explaining things to people, and them asking questions, and me, I don't get a lot of conversations where it's, exchanging ideas and information. It's usually people like, well, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? But I know that there's other people who are out there who see me on, I know I'm not a crazy person. I know that there's a reason why I understand the things I understand. And, that there's a lot of people that have a lot of understandings that a lot of people don't understand. And it's bringing this energy into this harvest, this changeover. And, I think too, another thing I was thinking about is that in this age that we're leaving of the Piscean age of duality and balance, that to me, I came out of it realizing that, there is no good or bad. It's all shades of gray. It's all of perception and stuff like that. And the biggest thing to me is if you do things to hurt other people, like murder and stuff, you're going to hurt people's feelings. You're going to, love people that don't love you back. There's all that kind of stuff. That's not necessarily creating a karmic debt because you hurt someone like that. It's when you take an action to actually, with an intent to hurt someone, to stop someone, to create something. It's based so much on intent and the action you take. But when we want to say good or bad, it's all of how we look at it, our own selves. What is good for some is bad for others. It's just all shades of gray. You have to it's all within yourself, your own moral compass. It's what's acceptable to you and how you treat others. And that's your creation. What you are creating is that. It's how you treat other people is the energy that you create in the world. So she took my spot and she just gets up there and snoring her little head off. But I told you she's just been crying and crying and crying if she doesn't get her way. She just starts climbing over the side of the chair. She's like, okay, you're not getting it. I'm coming in that chair right now. And she's bigger than me, so she just squashes me. Anyways, I keep, like, every time I look over, I keep thinking there's a giant lump on my head or something. But I don't know, the lighting's different and stuff, but just moving this direction. And outside, it's just total snowstorm. It's so snowy, it's so deep. And I just kept thinking this morning that hell has frozen over. We're in hell. There's no doubt about that. This is what hell is. And it's freezing over. But that is it's going to be a new change. The spring is going to be a whole new existence. Will be blossoming. But there has to be some pain to go through to get there. And there's just so many people. And you've got to let go of all the things, the paradigms that hold you. And as we're moving through this, the more you let go, the more you will move freely. If you're holding on like, oh, this is so important, oh, it has to be this way. If you're holding on to all these things, it's going to be painful as they're ripping it out of your hand, because everything is falling apart. There's, this is the end of an era and the start of a new one, and that's where we're going to be rebuilding. And that's where it's going to get to be fun, is that the creating and stuff. I think that probably whatever is going to happen, there's going to be some kind of event, some kind of a scary thing that's going to happen, and it's going to be so traumatic for these people. I would assume that the rest of us are just going to have nothing but empathy and feel their pain, because something is going to bring the people together. We will unify, and there may be people who can't. There's definitely going to be people who kill themselves. But it's going to, there will be unity. There will be a new life, new world, a whole new system. Everything is going to be changing. I don't think there's anything that I've heard anybody be like, oh, we want to keep that around. We want to, make sure that in the new world we build this back. Like, the government's going to be different. Everything's going to be different. And people's own moral compass is going to be flipped on or whatever. So anyways, this is very uncomfortable sitting like this, trying to sit with nothing against your back, because this is like one of those long chase things right here. So I was trying to think. There was so many things that kept coming to me. It usually is like something will happen, and then I'll just be flooded with information about it. And there has been so much in the past. Like last night, I had a harder time getting to sleep because it was just like going. Oh, you gotta talk about this. You gotta talk about this. I was like, oh, okay, just remind me tomorrow. Remind me to talk about it. And I'm trying to remember if I covered all this stuff. I was way too lazy to get up and write it down. I think I've covered it all. I really think that, I just hope that, I just wish I could get people to just look into things more. Don't just believe what you're told. Like, actually, like I told this one person, I said, when the stuff started coming out about this flu, I didn't go to the government paid doctors to see what was up. I started going in and looking and seeing, like, well, what are other doctors saying? What are the doctors who are coming out and saying something? Because I was a nurse and I know this is some bullshit. So I started looking for other people who were saying, like, this isn't making sense. And then I started finding it. And I found lots and lots of them that were. And then you start finding out, well, they're censoring them. They're closing them down. They're firing them. Hospitals are actually firing them. They're losing their licenses for speaking against the narrative. And then you start going like, well, okay, this is weird. Why don't they want both sides? Why aren't the people allowed to hear both sides? Why are we only getting one side? If you were getting the other side, maybe these people wouldn't be so scared. So, and then when they came out and said, like, this certain medicine, oh no, that doesn't work. Well, so I go in and start looking up about that medicine. Well, other people are going to the government paid websites to find out the truth. It's like, those people are lying to you. But, that's just the difference. Is like, where are you going? Are you going to go and just go and keep being led by this false bullshit? Or are you going to go out and look? So, that's my advice to anybody. If they come out and they say blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing, go and look. Try and prove them wrong. That's where you're going to find the truth. Because you can prove them wrong all day long. They're all lying. More people spent time doing that and stopped going and listening to them and believing them. We wouldn't have all these people that are terrified, willing to have chemicals injected into their bodies. So, yeah, I'm gonna go try and find some kind of movie or something to watch. I haven't done anything really today yet. Well, like little odd jobs, but putting away laundry, sweeping, stuff like that. I think I'll go find a movie, smoke a joint, find a movie, relax, take my mind off things. That's another thing too, is how much alcohol sales have gone up during all this, And in Washington, the government makes money off of alcohol. They get a huge, huge tax. Like, alcohol almost doubled when they did their tax thing. And so they're making tons of money off of this lockdown. And for the amount of alcohol that people are drinking, I think there's going to be people in liver failure by the time this is over. It's shocking. And alcohol drinking, like people are, it ages you. People don't realize it's a toxic chemical in your body. It's a poison. That's the reaction to alcohol, is you're being poisoned. That's why you get lightheaded and stumble around and all that stuff. And it's the ethyl alcohol or whatever, the actual poison in it, the reaction that people have. And so people are just intoxicating their body with this chemical during this time. And that's going to be another thing. I mean, now I bet you during this, it's probably creating alcoholics. And the thing is that with alcohol, is it's not even relieving anxiety. It's creating anxiety. It's a depressant. So, You can drink and drink and drink, but you're only going to feel good for those few minutes. And it's not going to last past that. And then you have to wake up and you still have problems. You feel like crap. So I kind of wonder, I've wondered about this lately, like, well, I wonder what the future is of alcohol. Like, alcohol abuse, I think, will be kind of, you know, kind of thing in the past, I think. I got a lot of things are going to change just with, just to not be enslaved, and for everyone to have a home and everyone to have food. It's going to take a lot of stress away for so many people, and it's going to make people want to get clean and sober and healthy. And to me, weed, pot, marijuana, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's a natural herb. And I know that alcohol is, you know, you can say, well, you know, corn or potatoes or grapes or all that stuff, that's all natural. It's fermented. But in the process, it produces this poison. And that's not how it works with marijuana. And marijuana has been proven that has, especially for older people, there's an article out right now about people, and I'm one of them, who quit taking all of the big pharma meds and use marijuana instead, and feel healthier, your body is better, I mean, everything. And it definitely does reduce anxiety and stress. There's a lot of people that could get off of anti-anxiety medicine, you know, just by, I mean, there's lots of ways you can take it. Chew it, smoke it, drink it. And just like, you can put tincture in tea. Like, there's all sorts of ways you can get it. You don't have to just sit and smoke. And there's derivatives. There's CBD, there's hemp CBD, there's RSO. RSO is a lot more potent. That's, you know, a lot more. I think it's very helpful for people with cancer and stuff. For me, if I have a migraine, rather than go into the ER and get a shot and be treated like a drug addict and all that stuff, you can take a little dab of RSO on a cookie, and it just, I don't know, relaxes your brain enough that it makes the headache go away. But it's all, you know, all these things will be coming out about more natural ways of medical treatment and stuff. This, you know, big pharma is just part of the whole corrupt system, and, you know, enslaving people onto their meds. Right now, they've got all these people, they're raising their prices on their meds. So, okay, this is killing me to sit like this. So, okay, have a great day.